is the rational fraction assessment, pre-assessment. Here we're focusing on three key concepts. You're going to simplify fractions, then we're going to multiply those rational fractions, and then we are going to divide them. So we always think of fractions, reducing them, making sure that they are simplified. We can't simplify things being added and subtracted, so we want to factor them. Now these are monomials, so they're already multiplying. When we have binomials, we want to see if we can factor them to turn into from addition, subtraction to multiplication. This is multiplication already. So 28r over 56r squared, it's already multiplying between those. So we're looking for a common factor. We're looking to divide it or break it up. This is 4 times 7 times r, and 56 would be, we can do 8 times 7 times r. And that's not prime factorization because 4 and 8 are not prime, but it's breaking it up into factors. And I chose factors that were in common. So 7 over 7, we know what 7 over 7 is equal to 1. So that's like multiplying by 1. And r over r is canceling to make a 1. So what are we left with is we have 4 and 8. And we can still reduce that because that has a common factor. So we see that 4 goes into 4 once, 4 goes into 8 twice. So what do we have in the numerator? We have a 1, we have a 1 and a 1, and 1 times 1 times 1 gives us 1. And what do we have in the denominator? In the denominator, we're left with a 2 times a 1 times a 1 times an r. And 2 times 1 times 1 times r gives us 2r. So our answer is 1 over 2r, and we have 1 over 2r. This can also be written as 1 over 2r. You wouldn't write 1/2 r, because then the r would be in the numerator. So that's a little bit of a tricky one. All right, number 2, same thing. I'm going to have 12n over 16n squared. I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to see that I can make this 2 times 6 times n, and that could be 2 times 8 times n times n. The 2's are going to cancel to make 1. The n's are going to cancel to make 1. I also see a 2 in there. So 2 goes into 6 3 times. 2 goes into 8 4 times. And I have that n still left. So I'm left with 3 in the numerator and 4n in the denominator. So where is that solution? That would be A again. So 3 over 4n. Now I have addition and subtraction. So I'm thinking a couple things. When I want to factor, I have to keep these things in mind. Number 1, is it in standard form? 2, is there a common factor? 3, is it a special case? Is it a binomial square or a difference of square? And then 4, if it's neither of those, we would do A times C. So x squared minus 3x minus 54, I'm going to do A times C with this. So I have x squared minus 3x minus 54. My A times C, my A is 1. My C is negative 54, which equals negative 54. My signs are different. Signs are different, and the bigger is going to be negative. Bigger is negative. So factors of 54, 1 and 54, 2 and 27, 3 and 3, what do we got there? That's going to be, that's going to be 1, 18. I like 18, yeah. 3 and 18, 4, no, 5, no, 6, yes, 6 and 9. And there we go. Signs are different. Bigger is negative, so I'm going to make all of the bigger factor pairs negative, and the signs have to be different, so we'll put pluses there. That makes negative 53. That makes negative 25. That makes negative 15. This makes negative 3. My middle term is negative 3. Which one of those equals to my middle term? This one. So I'm going to use these two factor pairs, and I'm going to break this up. X squared plus 6x minus 9x minus 54. I use these two values to split up my middle. And now I'm going to factor by grouping. I'm going to group the first two and group the second two. From the first two, I can factor out an x. That leaves me with x plus 6. I can factor out a negative 9. That leaves me with x plus 6. I'm left with x plus 6, x minus 9. I got the x plus 6 from here. That's where that one came from. And I got the x minus 9 from there. So that now becomes, in the numerator, x plus 6, x minus 9 all over x minus 9. Because the denominator can't be factored, I can cancel the x minus 9s because it's quantity and they're being multiplied between those, and that leaves me with x plus 6. So that's going to be A. And we're going to do that again. So we look at 40A plus 32. That has a common factor. And we have 16. So what can I factor? I can factor out an 8. And we get 5A plus 4 all over 16. So I can cancel the 8 and the 16. 8 goes into 8 once. 8 goes into 16 twice. And we're left with 5A plus 4 over 2. 5A plus 4 over 2 is A. Nice. Perfect. All right, let's look at our numerator. Our numerator, I'm going to do an A times C. And my denominator, I'm going to do a common factor. So step 1 is going to deal with V squared minus 18V plus 80. My A times C, my A is 1, my C is 80. 1 and 80, 2 and 40, 3 no, 4 and 20, 5 yes, 5 and 18, nope, 16, sorry. 6, no, 7, no, 8 and 10. My signs are the same, and they're both negative. So negative, 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 negative. That's negative 18. That's negative 21. That's negative 24. That's negative 42. And this is negative 81. Which one's equal to my middle? My middle is negative 18. That's this one. And so I'm going to break it up with those two factor pairs. V squared minus 8V minus 10V plus 80. We're going to factor by grouping. Group the first two, last two. Factor out a V, we get V minus 8. Factor out a negative 10, we get V minus 8. V minus 8 is what they have in common. We pull that out, we're left with V minus 10. So the numerator becomes V minus 8, V minus 10. Let's look at the other side. We have 8V minus 64. I can take an 8 out of that. That's V minus 8. So my denominator becomes 8 times the quantity V minus 8. These V minus 8s, we're playing the matching game. And that, and that leaves me with V minus 10 over 8. That 8 and 10 cannot cancel because that negative 10 is being added and subtracted. So I get the answer of V minus 10 over 8. So we're going to do A times C, and I'm going to do a common factor in the denominator. So V squared plus 15V plus 56. We do A times C. My A is 1, my C is 56. 1 and 56, 2 and 28, 3, no, 4, yes, 4 and 14, 5, no, 6, no, 7, no, 8, yes, 7 and 8, sorry. 7 and 8, signs are the same, both positive. $57, $30, $18, $15. My middle is equal to 15, so that's my middle value, 15, so I'm going to use those two values. V squared plus 7v plus 8v plus 56. Let's group the first two, group the second two. We get v times quantity v plus 7 plus 8v plus 7. We are left with v plus 7, v plus 8. So that numerator is v plus 7, v plus 8. Let's look at the denominator. We have 5v squared plus 40v. Let's factor out a 5v. That leaves us with v plus 8. So 5v times the quantity v plus 8. The v plus 8 cancel. V plus 7 over 5v. V plus 7 over 5v is going to be b. So that's good. We're going to do a times c. And here we're going to do a common factor and then a times c. Or maybe even, yeah, I think that's, so let's do the first one. V squared minus 9v plus 14. A times c. A is 1, c is 14. 1 and 14, 2 and 7. Signs are the same. And both negative. Negative, 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 negative. Negative 9, negative 15. This is my middle. So I'm going to use negative 2 and negative 7. V squared minus 2v minus 7v plus 14. Let's group and group. Factor out the v, v minus 2, factor out the 7, v minus 2, v minus 2, v minus 7. V minus 2, v minus 7. And now we're going to have to do, we have 2v squared plus 16v minus 40. Let's first factor out the 2. And that gives us v squared plus 8v minus 20. And now we'll do a times c for this, just this part. A times c for that. So a times c, a is 1, c is negative 20. Factors of negative 20 are 1 and 20, 2 and 10, 4 and 5. Signs are different. Bigger's positive. And we get 1, we get 8, we get 19. So 8 is my middle. So this becomes 2 times the quantity v squared minus 2v plus 10v minus 20. We are going to factor by grouping. And that gives us 2. So we'll factor out a v, and we get v minus 2. We'll factor out a positive 10, and you get v minus 2. So that gives us 2 times the quantity v minus 2, v plus 10 is the factored of the denominator. So 2 times the quantity v minus 2, v plus 10. What can cancel? The v minus 2 can cancel. So that leaves us with v minus 7 over 2 times v plus 10. So not much canceled. So what does that leave us with? That's b. Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to do a common factor here. Woo. I'm going to do a common factor and then hopefully a times c. So let's do 70v squared plus 10v. Common factor is going to be 10v. That's 7v plus 1. So that numerator is 10v times the quantity 7v plus 1. Let's look at the denominator. 70v cubed minus 160v squared plus 90v. So I can take out a 10v. That leaves us with 7v squared minus 16v plus 9. And now let's do a times c. A is 7, c is 9. That gives me 63, 1 and 63, 2 no, 3 and 21, 4 no, 5 no, 6 no, 7 yes, 7 and 9. Signs are the same, both are negative. That's negative 16, that's negative 24, and this is negative 64. My middle is going to be this, so I'm going to use those two values. That becomes 10v times the quantity 7v squared minus 7v minus 9v plus 9. We're going to factor by grouping, grouping, and grouping. 10v, let's factor out a 7v, which leaves us with v minus 1. We'll factor out a 9, which leaves us with v minus 1. And that's 10v times the quantity v minus 1 times the quantity 7v minus 9. Ooh. Ooh. All right. Wow. There's not much that cancels here. So 10v times the quantity v minus 1 and 7v minus 9 minus 9. So what cancels? The 10v's cancel, and that's it. You're left with 7v plus 1 over v minus 1, 7v plus 9. So what's that going to be? That's going to be B. So that wasn't very fun. Excuse me. Oh, all right. Now, those are all simplifying. That was all one fraction. Now we have two fractions. And the nice thing about this is it's already factored. It's in factored form. So we just need to cancel things, and we're looking for matching. Sort of like the matching game. What's matching? Well, these are matching numerator and denominator. This is denominator and numerator. It's not in the same fraction, which is okay because it's being multiplied, but it's still numerator and denominator. And you're left with 10n squared over n plus 6. We cannot cancel this n in the denominator with the n in the numerator because the n in the denominator is adding to 6. So what is that? That would be c. Yep. That's how easy that one is. So again, these are being factored. So they've done the hard work for us. We don't have to turn it into multiplication. They've already done that. When it's given to you in multiplication already, it's somewhat easy. What goes into 15 and 21? 3. 3 goes into 15 5 times. 3 goes into 21 7 times. The v plus 1 can cancel. And so that leaves me with 5 over 7. That's C. Now, 11 is not factored. So I have to look at each one and I have to factor it. So I'm going to factor this and that, and then I'm going to have to factor this, and then I'm going to have to factor this, and then I'm going to have to factor this. So each one of those pieces I'm going to try to factor. 3n plus 24. Well, that is an a times, or that's a common factor. So that's a common factor. Denominator, this is a times c. This is a times c. So that's the work that I have to do. I have to factor out a 3, and that leaves me with 3 times the quantity n plus 8. So this now is 3 times the quantity n plus 8. That denominator n minus 1 can't be factored. And now I'm going to factor this, n squared minus 13n plus 42. I'm going to do a times c. A is 1, c is 42. 1 and 42. 2 and 21, 3 and 1, 14, 4, no, 5, no, 6, yes, 6 and 7. Signs are the same, both are negative, and this makes negative 13. So this becomes n squared minus 6n minus 7n plus 42. I'm going to factor out an n, that leaves me with n minus 6. I'm going to factor out a negative 7, that leaves me with n minus 6. And I get n minus 6, n minus 7. So that new numerator on the top right becomes n minus 6, n minus 7. And now I'm going to factor the denominator, the right side denominator, n squared plus 2n minus 48. A times c, a is 1, c is negative 48. Factors of negative 48 are 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3, yes, 3 and 16, 4, yes, 4 and 12, 5, no, 6, yes, 6 and 8. Signs are different, bigger's positive, and, whoa, that's my positive 2, which is that, so negative 6, positive 8, negative 6, positive 8. We're going to factor in an n minus 6. We're going to factor in an 8, n minus 6, n minus 6, n plus 8. N minus 6, n plus 8. N plus 8 cancels, n minus 6 cancels, and that's it. So I'm left with 3 times the quantity n minus 7 all over n minus 1. Where is that? 3 times the quantity n minus 7 over n minus 1. That's going to be C. Number 12. So we, again, v squared minus 3v plus 2. A times C, 1 times 2 is 2. Factors of 2 are 1 and 2. Signs are the same, both are negative. Negative 3, so we get v squared minus v minus 2v plus 2. Factor out of v, we get v minus 1. Factor out of negative 2, we get v minus 1. So v minus 1, v minus 2. V minus 1, v minus 2. Bottom left can't be factored. Top right, 6v cubed plus 60v squared. We can do, that's going to be a times c. This is a common factor. That's going to be a times c. So here we're going to factor out a 6v squared. Ooh, how many people saw that? So times 6v squared, v plus 10. And now we're going to factor v squared plus 9v minus 10. A times c, 1 times negative 10. That's 1 and 10, 2 and 5. Signs are different, bigger's positive. So that's v squared minus v plus 10v minus 10. Factor out of v, v minus 1. Factor out of positive 10, v minus 1. V plus 10. V minus 1, v plus 10. V plus 10 cancel, v minus 1 cancel, v minus 2 cancel, and we're just left with 6v squared, 6v squared. So C, yeah, perfect. These are good. We like these. So this is going to be a common factor. This is going to be a common factor. That's going to be a common factor, and that can't. So let's look. 15n minus 3. Let's factor out a 3. We get 5n minus 1. Oh, sorry. 3 times the quantity 5n minus 1. Let's do 3n minus 9. We can factor out a 3. We get n minus 3. 3 times the quantity n minus 3. Let's factor out a 9n squared, 9n cubed plus 36n squared. Let's factor out a 9n squared. We get n plus 4. 9n squared times n plus 4. And that bottom right can't be factored any further. So 5n minus 1, no n minus 3. 3 and the 3 cancel. That's it. So we're left with 9n squared times the quantity n plus 4 over n minus 3. So 9n squared times the quantity n plus 4 over n minus 3. And that's going to be D. Number D. All right. So we're still multiplying. So this is going to be a common factor. This is going to be A times C. That can't be factored. That's going to be a common factor. So 20x to the third minus 28x squared. Let's factor out a 4x squared. That gives me 5x minus 7. So 4x squared times 5x minus 7. Bottom left, let's do A times C. X squared minus 10x plus 21. Factors of 21 are 1 and 21, 3 and 7. Signs are the same, both are negative. So that's negative 3 and negative 7. X squared minus 3x minus 7x plus 21. Factor out an x, you get x minus 3. Factor out a negative 7, you get x minus 3. X minus 3, x minus 7. So x minus 3, x minus 7. Let's top right, can't be factored, and bottom right, 20x cubed minus, oh, I could have just canceled those straight up. I did not see that, but we can still do it. 4x squared, you get 5x minus 7. So 4x squared times the quantity 5x minus 7. This cancels, this cancels. That's it. All right, so you're left with 7x squared over x minus 3, x minus 7. 7x squared, x minus 7, x minus 3. Yep, D. Now, notice, boom, you knew it was coming. We know we have division, you know that. So we're going into it. First thing we do, 3n minus 4 over n plus 8, 3n minus 4 times, now whatever is in the right will be reciprocal. So we have to take whatever is in the denominator of the bottom one is going to now be in the numerator. And whatever was in the numerator is now in the denominator. So now we can start canceling 3n with 3n. Ooh, that's very tricky. I almost canceled those. 3n minus 4, 3n minus 4. Nothing else cancels. So you're left with 10 over n plus 8 times n minus 4. That would be your answer. Which one's that going to be? That's going to be D. D for that one. Oh, I like this. They helped us out again. We love this. We love it because it's already factored. So it's saved some of the time, some of the process. 10n, n plus 8 now is in the numerator. 8, 3n plus 2 is now in the denominator. We have to remember to convert division to multiplication by taking the reciprocal of the right side. Now we can cancel. After we do that process, 10n, 10n, 8 and 8, 3n plus 2, 3n plus 2, and we are left with n plus 8 as my answer. And that's going to be D. Now we got to do some work. So what I would say is I would just flip before I start factoring. I would convert the division to multiplication by taking the reciprocal of both of those, and then I would do the work. So 3p minus 1 over p minus 5 times, and I wouldn't do anything just yet. I would just rewrite it. And 6p squared minus 26p plus 8. And now I would look, okay, I'm going to have to do a times c with that. Oh, and I have a common factor first. And let's look at the denominator. This one also has a common factor, and then I would do a times c. So I'm going to look at that top right. 2p squared minus 14p plus 24. Let's factor first, common factor. It's got a 2. So we get p squared minus 7p plus 12. Good. Now a times c. So factors of 12, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, and that's it. Signs are the same. Both are negative. To make negative 7 are going to be negative 3 and negative 4. So 2 times the quantity p squared minus 3p minus 4p plus 12. Let's factor a p, we get p minus 3. Factor a negative 4, we get p minus 3. So that's 2 times p minus 3, p minus 4. So 3p minus 1, p minus 5. And that new numerator is going to be 2 times the quantity p minus 3, p minus 4. Let's look at the bottom right. And that's 6p squared minus 26p plus 8. We can factor out a 2. 2, is that it? 3p squared minus 13p plus 4. So that's 12. That's 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Signs are the same, both negative. Are negative 1 and negative 12, so that's 2 times the quantity 3p squared minus p minus 12p plus 4. We can factor out a p, we get 3p minus 1. We'll factor out a negative 4, which is 3p minus 1. And that gives us 2 times 3p minus 1, p minus 4. So 2 times 3p minus 1 and p minus 4. So what cancels? The 2's cancel. 3p minus 1, p minus 4. And that leaves us with p minus 3 over p minus 5. We can move that down a little bit. Let's see if we can create some space here. Thank you. So that leaves us with p minus 3, p minus 5. Which one's p minus 3? Oh, p minus 3, p minus 5. A. Good. Okay. First thing, just rewrite 7n squared plus 40n minus 63 over 7 times 5n squared over 35n cubed minus 45n squared. So what am I'm going to do 47. 7 going to 40? No. What? Did you really do that, Mr. Mac? Wow. That is brutal. That's going to be a times c. This is going to be a common factor. Okay. This is going to be a monster. Yeah. Nothing goes into it. 7n squared plus 40n minus 63. 7 times negative 63. 21, 42, 44, 441. Negative 441. Okay, factors of 441. 1 and 441. 2 and 220. Nope, 2 doesn't go into that. 8, 9, 3 goes into it. 3 goes into it. 1, 4, 7. 4, no. 5, no. 6, no. 7, yes. 7 goes into it. 7 goes into 44 6 times, 63. 8, no, 9, yes, 9 goes into it. 4, 36, 81, 49 times, I like that. There it is, signs are different. Bigger's positive, and that gives us 40. So those are our two factor pairs. 7n squared minus 9n plus 49n minus 63. We'll factor out an n. You get 7n minus 9. We'll factor out a 7. That's 7n minus 9. So 7n minus 9, n plus 7. That wasn't too bad. Made that look easy. So that is 7n minus 9 and n plus 7 over 7. And that's, what are we going to factor out of there? 35n cubed minus 45n squared. Let's do 7n squared. 5n minus, no, not 35n 40. 35 and 45 is not 7. That would be 5. And that would give us 7 and 9. Sorry about that. 5 goes into that. Yes, that's good. So it's times 5n squared over 5n squared 7n minus 9. What's going to cancel? The 5n squared, 7n minus 9, and again, I have to move this down. Maybe I'll learn my lesson. Good, so that leaves us with n, not red, n plus 7 over 7. N plus 7 over 7. All right, we got it. Oof, holy moly. All right, that's a common factor and an a times c. That's going to be a common factor, a times c. This is common factor, common factor. So let's convert it to multiplication. So 2n, almost made a mistake. 2n squared minus 10n minus 72 over, oh, that's, sorry, this can go up here, over 5n cubed plus 30n squared times 25n cubed plus 30n squared over 10n squared plus 52n plus 48. All right, now let's create some space here. So let's do the first part. We got 2n squared minus 10n minus 72. Let's factor out a 2. We get n squared minus 5n minus 36. Not the difference of squares, or not binomial square. So a times c is negative 36. 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9, 5 and 6 and 6. Signs are different. Bigger's negative. That's my negative 5 right there. So 2 times the quantity n squared plus 4n minus 9n minus 36. Let's factor out an n. We get n plus 4. Factor out a negative 9. We get n plus 4. So 2 times the quantity n plus 4, n minus 9. All right, so that's 2 times the quantity n plus 4, n minus 9. N minus 9. All over. Okay. What's that lower left? 5n cubed plus 30n squared. Factor out a 5n squared. We get n plus 6. That's nice and easy. 5n squared, n plus 6. Let's factor the top right. Top right is 25n cubed plus 30n squared. Let's factor out a 5n squared. We get 5n plus 6. 5n squared plus 5n plus 6. Okay, now let's factor the bottom right. 10n squared, 10n squared plus 52n plus 18 plus 48, not even close. Let's factor out only a 2. 5n squared plus 26n plus 24. That's not fun. 5 times 24 is 20. 120 factors of 120. 1 and 120. 2 and 60. 3 and 40. 4 and 30. 5 and 24. 6 and 20. 7, no. 8 and 15. 9, no. 10 and 12. Signs are the same. Both are positive to make 26 right there. So we get 2 times the quantity 5n squared plus 6n plus 20n plus 24. Let's factor out an n, 5n plus 6. Factor out a 4, 5n plus 6. 2 times quantity 5n plus 6, n plus 4. 2 times the quantity 5n plus 6, and n plus 4. Okay, n plus 4 cancels, n plus 6, that's not an n plus 6. That doesn't cancel. That is a 5n plus 6. The 5n squared cancel. The 2 cancels. I'm left with n minus 9 over n plus 6. So we see the importance of keeping track of our work. Keeping track of our work allows us to not miss things. If we organize our work, we can find it, we can check it, and it's organized, and we're not going to make silly mistakes. Last one, let's just rewrite it. N plus 6 over 6n squared minus 14n times 15n squared minus 20n minus 35 over 45n cubed plus 45n squared. So that's going to stay the same. Let's just n plus 6. We can factor out a 2, and we get 2n. Hello, already making mistakes. 2n, and we get 3n minus 7. And the bottom right, we can factor out a 45n squared, and we get n plus 1. We can factor out a 5. Now we have to factor the rest of that. So we got 15n squared minus 20n minus 35. Factor out that 5. 3n squared minus 4n minus 7. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. 121, 3 and 7. That's it. Signs are different. Bigger is negative. So 5 times 3n squared plus 3n minus 7n minus 7. Factor out a 3n, n plus 1. Factor out a negative 7, n plus 1. 5 times quantity n plus 1, 3n minus 7. So 5 times the quantity, what's that, n plus 1, 3n minus 7. What's going to cancel? 3n minus 7, n plus 1, 5 and 45. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 45 9 times. That's it. Nothing else. So we're left with, let's see what we're also left with. We're left with, so that is going to be n plus 6 in the numerator. And 2n times 9 is going to be 18n to the third. Ooh, look at that little doozy. We got n squared and 2n. So we are going to end up with that, which is D. Did I circle the last one? Yes, I did. Okay, so those are all the answers. Hopefully that made sense. Good luck in preparing for your last assessment. Good luck, my favorite 8th grade.